Welcome to WHM On-Screen, everybody. I'm Andrew Jubin alongside Eric Siska, Christopher Cabin, Steven Sadak.
Sit up here. God, get some good posture.
That's right. God damn it.
Yeah.
You better sit
should
up
have,
straight.
Like a fucking mechanical thing, like Emperor Palpatine shoved up your butthole in order for you to
It's
fucking.
my butt plug.
I'm afraid my butt plug will be fully operational when your friends arrive.
Yes, Mike.
Some of them vibrate.
The vibrating egg.
This is an on-screen conversation about, of course, Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
Really quick, vibrating egg, Darth Vader's head. Carry on.
Oh, no, I got another
Perfect.
vibrating egg. You ready for more vibrating egg jokes, guys?
The Easter bunny's around the corner.
We've received the plans for Emperor Palpatine's vibrating eggs. Many Bothans died to bring us this information.
You know, Richard Grant, you can control it by iPhone.
Many
you see.
Bothans died from anal orgasms.
That is a lie and a misnomer.
Shit, man. I don't know where to begin. This movie's kind of a dud.
It's Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, unless we've said it already.
I
Maybe we-
did.
Oh, well, I don't know.
It's all right. Just to remind people what we're talking about here,
Sure.
especially because we're just talking about vibrating eggs
Yeah.
and anal
We're
orgasms.
having people. That's what people want.
It's
the movie
been-
didn't
I've-
give you what you wanted.
It's
you
been 2
want
weeks.
egg talk.
It's been 2
Yeah.
weeks.
I'm sorry. I mean, thankful that I brought it up.
I saw this movie twice.
Same.
And the
Same.
second time, I was a lot more forgiving. I was in a better
Yes.
headspace. I think
Uh-huh.
I had a therapy session beforehand. I went to go,
Nice.
no,
Uh-huh.
Did
earlier
you talk
in
about
the
the movie?
week.
That
No,
was
I
all
didn't.
that
No,
was
man, although I was tempted, I was like,
this week he's talking about fucking Star Wars
I was just like,
again?
am
What
I
is this
gonna
guy
get
paying
kicked out
for?
of therapy for this? And I was like, no, I'm not. No, but I mean, like, I went. We went to the Alamo with my wife and a friend of ours.
Yep.
And I was drinking during it, and
So,
I knew,
yep.
and I knew all the stuff that was gonna happen, all of the
Uh-huh.
things, the pain points I was aware of. And I enjoyed myself a lot more than I thought I would the second time around, even though this movie, to Andrew's point, is kind of a dud.
I agree with that. I feel like the second time I had more fun with it. I realized I don't necessarily need to have a strong opinion. Like
Yeah.
it's just whatever.
It's totally fine to shrug your shoulders at a Star Wars movie, I think is the lesson
Yes.
I learned here. Because to piggyback off of you, Steve, Chelsea and I went to Alamo, Brooklyn. I got a blue milkshake that had a bunch of vodka and blue curacao. And then I just drank like 3 more beers after that.
Yeah.
And it was good. It wasn't a Star Wars movie in where I was crying at any point, really. I think maybe I had like one little tear up moment. I'm usually kind of a mess with these things.
Sure.
Also, we should say, because we're, I guess, about to get into the actual story stuff. Spoiler alert, if you have not seen Rise of Skywalker, we're going to talk about any and all things that come to our head. This is a completely improvised conversation. If you're finding this on YouTube, we're just going to riff. So if you haven't seen it, you know.
I'll say I saw it twice. I saw it once. I was furious. I fucking hated it.
After the first time?
First
you're
time,
saying?
I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
And I guess the quote unquote good thing about this is the second time in, I was like, I remember nothing but what I ate. So
What you ate or what you hate?
what I hate about it. So like,
Because I
all
can
the-
picture you eating in a movie.
Well, I do occasionally, as we all do.
Sure, we've all been there.
we all.
I'm just joking.
You know, the Skywalker sliders. I know, and so I go
Yeah.
back to it, and like again, like I think my opinion is that up until Kajimi, once Kajimi ends is when I start having huge problems.
Kajimi's where they run into Lando?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
No.
What, that's the
That's
This is Babu
Carrie Russell's
Freak.
home planet.
Oh,
and
yes,
cool-
where it's
Did I
like,
say
it's
Babu
dude,
Freak?
yeah,
Is
Babu
that it?
Frick.
Frick.
Babu Frick, by the
Babu
way.
Frick. Barbara Frick. Where?
Babu Freak.
Kajimi, dude, you know what that was?
Hell yeah.
Closest thing we're going to see Star Wars at Christmas time.
Yes.
Because it's like gently snowing. It looked like Dickensian London town for a lot
I
of
like
it.
that. I also Kajimi. I thought you were going to say is the closest I've ever seen to Kathy Najimy in a Star Wars movie.
Oh,
You
man,
know?
I thought you were going to go with the Kathy to Jimmy joke. Nice.
There we go. I saw this. I will say, personal story.
First time, where did you see it?
Just the Regal Union Square.
Yeah, nice shitty theater. Nice.
They're revamping it. It's actually looking.
They're
a
going to
bit nice.
try their best. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But so I went and a really nice gentleman. The movie ends. I'm really disappointed. My brother is in from out of town. We made a plan to go see it.
Yep.
It's right before the holidays, and I'm getting up and I've been holding a piss for like
Yeah.
48 minutes, and this really nice dude is like, "Hey man, are you Steven Sadak?" And it was really nice, and it wasn't so awestruck. He's like, "Are you Steven Sadak?" I was like, "Yeah, I am, man." And I'm just doing this, and he's like, "I really love the show." And I shook his hand. I was like, "I gotta go to the bathroom." Like, it's just like, I gotta pee.
May I come with you?
No, he's a very nice guy, but I felt
And then I
bad
met a fan again.
because he was like, "What do you think?" I was like, "That was all right." I was like doing that thing. I was like, "Yeah, it's all right."
You know what you should have done, dude, and this would prevent
Piss
anyone from
your
talking to you in the
pants.
street. Yes, you are
What?
right. Just
Really?
fucking. Yeah, I'm Steven Sadak. You just start pissing yourself in the lobby.
That's awesome.
I
You
will
should
say that-
piss yourself. Do
I
it
did-
now. We're on YouTube as well, folks.
Well, I'm wearing-
listening.
Dude, it'll
Black-
get taken down though.
I'm wearing black jeans. It wouldn't really scan. I should have worn my light
could
jeans.
tell, though. I could tell.
You can smell it.
I could smell it.
I will say
come on.
that is the worst time to.
Oh my God, he's doing it.
At the end,
That's a black on your
Oh my
jeans.
Lord.
I am not pissing my pants.
Well, the camera can't show the floor, but there is a pool happening.
That is sort of the worst time, and it's not his fault to talk to somebody is after a blockbuster because I always have to piss.
Absolutely.
The end of any blockbuster, I am beelining it for a bathroom.
I got screwed over at the Alamo Brooklyn because, and I know they're expanding, but the fucking bathroom situation
It's a
in that
disaster.
theater is abhorrent. I got out, walked to the bathroom. You just open it and there's just a dude there that's like, "Sorry, full," and I was like, "Fuck!" I was like Homer Simpson in the Homer Simpson versus New York. I went all the way up to the one tower and I was like, "Nah!" And I had to go all the way back down, run fucking downstairs.
Yeah, the downstairs is the trick.
Yeah,
Here-
but that's a blessing bathroom though, man, because not a lot of folk use it, and it's
Here-
usually pretty open.
Here, sir. Here's a bucket in the closet's there. Hand me your bucket when you come back. We recycle them.
I want to say another thing
yeah, they
about
use it for popcorn the next day.
theater etiquette, man. We're walking into the theater, okay? And there are people right outside, like in the lobby, just talking about the movie.
Yeah, you can.
And I started yelling because, like, Chelsea and I were both like, "Meh, meh, 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 meh," and I was like, "Why don't you take it outside?" Like, just fucking screaming in this lobby. How
What'd
can
they,
you
what'd they
do
say?
that?
What did they say?
Dude, it was
Oh,
just
it's terrible. It's fucking awful.
it was no. I didn't even stick around, but it was like, and Princess Leia, and I was like, "No."
Yeah, because I mean, I've gotten into the habit for these movies at least, put my headphones on the way in, and I'm even with a
Yeah,
person,
right.
and I'm like, "I'm sorry, friend, I'm crazy."
through the trailers. You got to go through the. I leave them in.
Yeah.
So the dead speak.
Oh,
How cool would it have been to actually have heard that message and see our intrepid heroes and villains experience that instead of having it in the scroll?
it's tough, and I mean, I actually kind of like that Kylo Ren silent murdering all those weird fucking people in Raiden hats situation. I don't know what's going on that planet. It looks cool.
Exegol.
But I hate that it's in slow motion.
Yeah, I don't
think
mind
that's
that.
kind of like I kind of think
Slow
it slows
motion is
down.
no business in Star Wars.
Yeah, I
It's
kind of.
so early too. Like
Yeah.
it's the second shot of the movie.
Or was that him trying to find the Sith?
It was him trying to
Wayfinder?
find the Wayfinder. He's
Gotcha.
killing a bunch of guardians of whatever.
Oh, the
fuck.
Sith PS.
Dude, I mean, like, and that's the thing we're saying. I mean, the dead speak. My asshole clenched. I was like, oh, because Palpatine's back. It wasn't
Yeah.
a surprise.
Yeah.
But I was like, the dead speak, and it's like the Palpatine may be back, ladies and gentlemen. And
But
I'm
it's the
like,
same, it's funny though because we were just talking about this Return of the Jedi on the Return of the Jedi episode that we dropped in December, and in that scroll, it's like, by the way, everybody, there's a second Death Star right in that fucking scroll.
sure,
It's kind of the same thing.
it's true. It's true. But
It's a big story reveal that's just presented to you in text. And you
But I
don't
mean-
see it.
But it's different because that's just a fucking
base.
A base. Like it's
Yeah.
not a humongous character that we didn't see like come back. He's just like, yeah, he's back.
I don't know, man. The reveal of a second Death Star is kind of a huge deal after not having one in The Empire Strikes Back.
here's the thing, and I think my 2 times watching this movie, in both times, the Emperor sucks. He
Yep.
totally
It
sucks.
sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks.
It sucks. He sucks, and not McDiarmid specifically, but like the way they dress him up, all of his dialogue, all of
Give
his
me
movements.
some explanation. I understand Snoke was a clone, called it, or whatever. But like, give me something. Make him a clone, or like he blew up and was fine. Question mark. His fingers hurt now. That's his only thing.
have bad arthritis from being blown up.
One other thing. I
Yeah.
like the planet. I hate his lair. I think it's really messy and garbage.
It's dark. I
You
can't see a
see
goddamn
what's
thing.
going on.
Nope.
Both
couldn't-
times,
no detail.
and especially the second time, because the second time you're aware of, like, you're not like, what is happening?
Right.
But the second time, like, wait, what's happening? Because again, it's really dark. I don't know. He's got these like thousands of people that are around him in this like
what is this
Coliseum
fucking crowd?
I
They're
don't
all
know.
Sith?
So I guess they were inhabitant. This is just my conjecture. I don't know. I didn't read any of the supplemental material that I guess.
And you
is
may never.
going to- they're doing a Rise of Kylo Ren comic series.
Oh, I might
Okay, because that's the shit I was more interested in anyway than the Emperor in a fucking claw machine.
Oh, wait, you almost got me.
Sorry, got the teddy bear that time.
Getting a hold of this Chester Cheetah plush. Hold on.
So I guess they're just like Sith worshippers that
Yeah.
lived on this planet that then
Or
helped
are
him.
they Sith?
I guess
themselves?
it's a Sith planet. I don't know.
They're like Renfields. They're not
Yes,
like real
a
Sith.
planet of Ren, 'cause they can't be
Oh.
Sith because they would have powers of their own, et cetera, et
But I
cetera.
guess
Yes,
they
sure. In a year, we'll do a review and see where you come up.
unless
that promotion.
unless they're stealing children like the First Order did, but I need to understand what's happening in a movie.
I mean, like,
There's just not
And
enough
it's-
there.
So did they build this Sith fleet of Imperial Star Destroyers, or the fucking supplemental materials for the last movie set up the Aftermath trilogy of novels mention a contingency plan by the Emperor in which they do send starships into the unknown regions.
If I am in the event, I am thrown off a cliff.
It's kind of cool though. Like in the books and stuff, it's just like, oh, he's just gonna break the chessboard and start a new game out there. And it's
Right.
like, okay, cool. Do maybe mention any of that shit? Maybe mention Thrawn? That would
if
be
you're
nice.
watching this tape, it means you're in a horror trilogy. By the way, this is my Emperor impression because that's what he's doing this entire movie.
Yeah.
It's like a little hamster.
Yeah, with the hands, yeah.
I mean, I don't.
Put me in my wheel.
I just don't.
Because it's just Dracula.
It's just Dracula.
Space
It's
Dracula.
not great. I mean, like he's got this black shit on his mouth.
He looks terrible.
He looks terrible, and I mean,
Well, I guess it's a point, but like,
I think
it's not interesting to look
I'm
at.
an Ian-
Oh, that's the thing. It's not. It should be disgusting.
Yes,
If it's
if we're
going to
gonna
be
do
something,
that,
it should be
Yep.
disgusting. Not
Danny
terrible.
DeVito as the Penguin.
Yes, he should have like fucking oil coming out of his
Ian
mouth or something.
McDiarmid, I think, is great, and I actually think he's the best part of the trilogy movies. Actually, like he's having
OT.
a ball all
the prequels?
the
The
prequel
prequels.
trilogy.
Oh.
He's having
Yeah.
a ball in those three movies, especially the third one, and he's worth watching. If there's a reason to watch that trilogy, which I don't think there is,
No.
it's him.
Him and
Right.
McGregor. I would
Yes,
say.
and I mean, like,
Yes.
and in
McGregor.
this movie, you're going to bring him back. He's got to be bad, and not just bring him back in a Force Ghost capacity or a whatever capacity. He's the big bad, and he sucks.
Yep.
Well,
It's
that's
really disappointing.
what Johnson broke in that second one, which was a huge radical move, is fucking the mythology of this all. So like you have, if the whole point of this, it's a stupid thing to fucking do, but if really is what Abrams wanted to do was to make the mythology, build it back up, this guy has no presence. He's a little machine. Like you have to center him as a great being of humongous power, not just have the lightning storm at the end.
Snoke held court in
Yes.
both of those
Yes.
movies. We don't really see that in this movie.
No, and I mean, like, also, like, to your point, actually, Snoke looks great as a CGI creation. I think make a CGI Emperor. It would have been blasphemy in quotation marks, but like then you could light him properly and like it would look like something.
Also,
yeah,
though,
you could like
if you-
deteriorate part of his body, make him look gross.
If you're saying,
Oh man, what if he's just a skeleton in a robe?
I'm into it. 110%.
And it's just like
pretty
a
cool.
Harryhausen skeleton.
yes, the
that would
shittier
be-
the better.
Yes.
Yeah,
That would be in line with the whole Star Wars tradition of like this is based off of fucking shit George Lucas saw growing up, Buck
Yeah.
Rogers, whatever.
Yeah.
I'd be into that.
I mean, I think the whole I had a thing of beef of something. The Emperor
Beef
lost
cheese,
it, was interrupted and lost
on
it.
a roll?
Fuck. Fuck. Can't remember now. Yeah. Oh, with right there. Andy Serkis.
Force sucking Snoke.
Snoke. So you see that like dead Snoke in a fucking tank or whatever, right? And so it's like if the idea is if he's a
growing
clone,
Snokes, dude.
why can't he have like dupes like Saddam Hussein and Snoke is
Exactly.
still the fucking bad guy? The fact that Abrams had to look at what Rian Johnson created and then was like, no, nope, it's just a clone. And bring back another thing. He's a creatively bankrupt fucking B-team Steven Spielberg from the 80s, and he's never been anything else but.
He's got these Snokes in here like gherkins. Like just
They're packed
piled them in there.
Dude, they're in like a little like garlic. Like oil
Do
or
you
something.
want a bread and butter Snoke or
a dill Snoke?
dill or spicy?
I will say
Spicy
though,
Snokes.
it's quite telling the last couple. Now I'm kind of glad we did this 2 weeks out, because the fucking paper trail on this movie, it is like the fucking Panama Papers. It's like, you did it. No, you did it. It's like,
Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy, that bitch. Can I speak candidly? She's a bitch because she wanted Burr Palpatine back. And Chris Taylor's like, no, it's Abrams. And Abrams is like, no, it's Terrio. And like, nobody knows who did what.
Yeah.
Because it just,
It's a fucking mess.
it's that's the thing.
And
The
I
movie is-
saw a mess on screen.
the movie is a mess. If the movie was clear, like, I don't even think Palpatine's the worst idea. Even the Rey thing, which we'll get into, is bad, but I don't think it's the worst thing that's ever happened in the universe.
Yeah.
It's just performed poorly.
It's executed
Not performed. She's
shittily.
good. I will say she's good.
It's executed shittily.
Yeah.
And also another thing to bring up, because it does tie into all of this. This movie is really poorly edited.
Yes.
Oh God.
It is so slapped together. You can fucking smell the glue coming off this thing.
Haste with an idiot's
And
fucking
I
view.
do. If you want to really resurrect Palpatine, I think it could be done well, but you need to devote time to it. And we just learned this past day or two that 30 minutes was cut out with the whole J.J. Abrams cut. or
Release the
whatever.
JJ cut.
Which,
okay,
you know what?
everybody.
I know they're not going to, but I almost want them to because I feel like this movie needed to be longer for all the amount of fucking shit they
You
shoved
absolutely,
into it.
yes, you're absolutely right. It's only
Yeah.
like 2 hours and 25 minutes. And like, I'm sorry, we were earlier this year slamming fucking Infinity War and whatever.
Infinity
Endgame,
War
rather.
and Endgame.
But like,
Make 2 movies. Honestly, what is this fucking?
Yeah.
What is this? This beholden to a
we gotta do
trilogy? Who cares?
trilogies.
Also, you just got cucked by Martin Scorsese, who made a 3.5 hour masterpiece.
Yep, and
Why
you
not
knew.
make your stupid movie 3.5 hours?
I'm fucking your wife.
and
You see me up there in your window with your wife.
see that emperor up there? That emperor is up there with my wife. No, but like that movie, I think anyway, and I know people disagree, and that's fine. That's like, you know, what we
Sure.
do here.
Yeah, and it's okay to like a movie, by the way.
I didn't fucking
Except this
feel. I didn't feel the length of The Irishman. I saw it in
At
the theater in Alice Tully Hall in New York City, one of the worst fucking seats ever. I didn't have to get up to go to the bathroom. I
flies.
fucking sat there. It flew.
Moves.
This 2 hours and 25 minutes, you could have fucking left shit in here. People will sit in the theater for it. It's Star Wars. I'm sorry.
I agree, but I also think another move would have been delay this a year. You get Carrie Fisher.
For
Like,
sure.
here's the thing: you guys backed the wrong horse. You killed Ford. You killed Hamill, and you're like, it's gonna be the Carrie Fisher show, and then she dies tragically.
Yeah.
After you make that second movie, and very clearly they were watching the fan reaction up to that second movie as they were writing the script, and B, we're like, well, how the fuck are we going to deal with this character that we set up to be this big important character that is now dead? And they just wrote it. They're like, well, it's got to come out in 2 years no matter what. Like,
Yeah.
put it out in 2020. Put it out in 2021. Like,
Yeah.
you had The Mandalorian coming out this year anyway. Like,
We got some Star Wars. Yeah,
take
exactly.
some fucking time and write the movie properly.
But I take issue with that because she dies. 9 months later, they hire a writer.
yes,
That you have so much time. That's
Yes.
so much time to rethink your story.
And it would have been great if they thought about everything a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Well, even hiring Chris Terrio, the guy behind Batman vs Superman, is a nod to the assholes on Reddit being like, you like those stupid, awful movies, right?
But
We'll
at the
get
same-
the guy who brings the stupid, awful movies here.
and
Yeah.
Argo.
Well, no,
Arco, too.
no. And here's the thing: no one's ever going to think about Argo ever again or rewatch
Ever.
it.
Very
But I
true.
think that movie has a good script behind it.
Yeah.
Argo?
I think Argo has a good script.
It's crazy how
That's fine.
Argo opens with like the dead speak. And it's about like the Ayatollah Khomeini coming
Well,
back.
dude, is the
from dead.
Ayatollah dude who's in the claw machine.
Secret transmissions from the Ayatollah have been heard throughout the galaxy.
The claw gets stuck in his beard. It's like a whole thing.
We're being really negative Nancy's here. Again, I saw it the second time. The one thing that I liked the first time, and I really liked the second time, which I think this
Yeah.
movie does well, is it finally gives Finn, Rey, and Poe a lot of stuff to do together.
Sure.
And I mean, maybe that's fan service, maybe that's not. It probably is fan service. And I think that those three actors play off each other really well. And it's kind of funny because Oscar Isaac hasn't said a word to Daisy Ridley in the first two movies.
Yeah.
And in this movie, they're like, "Hey, remember all these adventures we've been on? You haven't seen," which it's fine. And I actually think that the three of them play off each other well. I think that dynamic is really fun.
I agree.
And I think that all those scenes when they go to the fucking the
Oh, you mean the scenes where they go to find a MacGuffin to then find another MacGuffin to then go to the MacGuffin
I mean,
planet?
this is the problem when you it's
Dude, when you have a whole MacGuffin planet,
What's
big
the
problem.
term? There's a term for this.
Shit.
Bad
Fetch
writing?
quest. Fetch questing.
yeah.
Something like that. Like just you have to go on a quest to fetch something, and then you just throw a bunch of those into the movie,
Right.
and that's all you're doing.
The dagger to the Wayfinder. Dude, just go to the Wayfinder. I didn't
Yeah,
see
I don't give
Kylo
a
get
fuck.
a fucking dagger.
Yeah.
The Wayfinder is stupid. I'm sorry, it is, and so is the dagger. Like I mean, like you could get you get one. It's a Wayfinder or it's a dagger. It can't be both.
Yep. Either one of them can tell you the map to the whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter.
And even in when I rewatched Force Awakens, that map to Luke Skywalker is kind of stupid too. Like it's just, I mean, like it's
You're
just
right.
it's sort of a thing where like that's not Star Wars. We're not looking for maps. We're not looking for ancient runes. We're just going on an adventure. Oh man, Han's frozen. Oh man, fucking whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and we know where things are magically. We know where Dagobah is. Like the whole like maps to what treasure maps. It's not. It doesn't feel Star Wars to me.
It's
specifically.
video
That's
game rules going into Star Wars now.
Yeah, and that's a big problem because I mean, like video games pull it off because you're like interacting with it and it's
Yeah.
giving you the thing to do. But honestly, that's not a way to tell a story.
It's
At
not.
least a
It's-
non-interactive story.
I mean,
you know
it's
what I
all over. Like Aquaman does the same thing.
Sure.
Like it's all that. But you can play like this is not the movie I was expecting it from.
Yeah.
So watching it, I was just like, I don't know why.
And
you're
again,
doing
I think
this.
you get one. Also, I do more positive stuff. I love and I want. You want to talk about a side character that I want a comic book series, I want a movie about. I want the assassin for Rey's parents to have a whole fucking. The second
guy
time around, I'm like,
Ochi
this
or
guy.
whatever?
I like the
Yeah,
cut of
I
his
like-
jib.
I'm
I like
like
the cut of his
wondering-
jib.
They could. I feel like that could definitely be a hunter for Baby Yoda in the
Yeah.
timeline. It
I'm
would
into
work.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I like that.
Oh,
You actually don't know
Season 2, season 3.
of the Mandalorian. Yeah,
Totally.
I like that guy. I like a lot of the character designs. I like Kerry Russell a lot. I mean, I don't know what we're
great.
talking about.
I mean, it's that's a positive thing. I'll say. I think she's great. There's definitely not enough of her. There's just
There's
straight
not
up
enough 'cause
not enough of her.
Her entire character is like, hey, I'm here to tell you kids out there that Poe is not gay. He's not gay.
I don't
Stop
necessarily.
talking about him like that.
I don't
him and
necessarily
Finn
buy
are just
that.
friends. They're
That-
just friends.
That's how it felt like.
I don't necessarily buy that.
because she's not a character.
She's
really.
not a character. I mean, she's a Star Wars character,
cool-
which means
cool
she's not a
outfit.
character, first of all.
That's true.
I mean,
that's-
there's not a ton of development throughout this franchise,
And then her-
really.
And the big cap to her fucking story is when all the people come, hey,
Yeah, I mean, she's
let's
the,
go.
And not only that, Babu Freak or whatever is fucking.
Babu Frick. Can
Okay,
you say his name
he's
right?
a character from Thumb Wars. He's not a character. From
I like
Star
Babu
Wars.
Frick,
I
and I
like
will
Babu
fight
Frick.
you
The
for him.
fact that
down
this
with it.
jib jab jumps up in her cockpit that looks superimposed.
He's
from the-
adorable. You're ridiculous.
Dude, Salicious Crumb is a jib jab man. I'm sorry to
He's
tell
a
you.
puppet jib jab.
I'll say I'm with Eric because Babu Frick should not be put in danger like that.
Also,
Leave Babu Frick with the computers.
how about Babu Freak does something that fucking matters, like wipe C-3PO's memory forever? Can there be
Let's
any
talk about that.
finality
Let's
in
talk
this
about that.
in this fucking shit?
Here's a thing that really bugged me. Like I feel like I'm okay with this movie. I do have problems with it and it's fine. But the take backs with the deaths really bothered me. You know what? Like my jaw hit the floor when that transport exploded and you think Chewbacca is dead.
Sure.
And I'm like,
Kill him.
fuck, that's effective.
I'm
Did
not-
you think he was dead?
I did for a second. I really
I
did.
totally did.
really didn't. I was
I
like,
did.
there's no
Immediately,
way.
My,
I was like, there's
my
no
heart
way.
was broken for about three
They're
and a
not
half
gonna
minutes.
kill Chewbacca like that.
What's
They're
so-
not gonna do it.
Why not though? That's what I'm
It's the
saying.
end of the- they're
you know
not
who would have
gonna-
killed Chewbacca? Ryan Johnson.
He might have,
Ryan
but
Johnson
this is
would've
not
killed
him.
Chewbacca.
But
I,
like,
I would kill Chewbacca.
but I need you see his face. He has to have like a heroic end, like all or like a big meaningful
Now,
end, like the other one.
someone here killed Chewbacca, and I'll
Lakeith
both,
Stanfield, close the door. No one's leaving.
we're gonna find a donut inside of a donut inside of a donut and find out who Chewbacca is.
Here's the
So-
thing, though. It would really, and it sounds dumb, but it would be a little bit realistic because sometimes that shit fucking happens. And I think Chewbacca is a character that's on a level where you could do that to it, and you wouldn't have fucking Chewbacca got done dirty.
I would have been I would have had a tattoo that said Chewbacca got done dirty.
It's okay to have sudden tragedy in your storytelling.
Look, I agree with you, but I know for a fact Star Wars isn't going to do that. They're
But
not
that's what
going
I'm
to
saying.
just kill this
I'm
beloved
saying
character
you
like that.
could.
Even if you have Chewbacca potentially dying in this car accident, credit to Steve Sadak for texting that a few days ago. But it's just like, so Ben Solo grew up with Chewbacca, obviously.
Yeah.
Rey knows Chewbacca.
Yeah.
They're pals.
They're both just like, oh, I guess he's in there. I guess I can't use the Force to understand what other people are.
And later they do.
They're like,
fucking
oh,
do.
I guess he was on another trip.
To be
Dude,
Fuck you with this
there was another
reversal.
transfer.
But to be fair though, that's all over the original trilogy, wherein again Darth Vader is this close to his biological daughter and cannot figure out that he's this close to his biological daughter.
Yeah, but they're
for
not
those first two
blowing her
movies.
up and
That's
then bringing
true.
her back to life. in scene
Also, you're
5
supposed to
scenes
learn
later.
as you go along.
I know. I get it.
All right,
I get
listen.
it.
All right, so regardless of the fucking magic movie detective over here, that knew right away.
Could you
No way
Chris,
they kill him like
Could
that.
you put on your detective hat before we
wish.
continue this?
All right,
There's a
regardless.
donut in the donut
Listen.
yet again.
Listen, it's dumb that there's a second transport. It's also dumb that C-3PO makes this gigantic sacrifice. And I'll say it, I hate that robot, and I still say it's a gigantic sacrifice
Yes.
to get his memory wiped. Dude, why would it be the end of the world to just leave that fucking
I think
robot's
that's a great
head
one.
wiped?
And that's how the prequels ended, right? Didn't he
Yeah.
get his memory
He
wiped?
gets, they
They
always get their
both
memory.
do.
Just to fucking wipe their memories. Who gives a shit?
I think that makes so much more sense. It's kind of poetic. And R2, like, I think somebody had told me that there's an alternate cut to the end of this movie wherein R2 is explaining the trilogy to 3PO at the end of it. Like,
Right.
and like that's he has to relearn it. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of like that idea, and maybe that's
Yeah.
fake. And
Who's
maybe
telling you there's this alternate cut? All this knowledge
Are
about
you-
these alternate cuts and what?
Are you on Reddit?
I am not.
You better not be.
Steven?
Not in this house.
Steven, don't you lie to me.
I have a Reddit account, but I barely use it.
I
But
think just
No.
the takebacks. I think it's totally
no, but I mean, like,
coward,
and it's such a
coward writing.
It's a small thing. Like, blowing up C-3PO would have been like, holy shit.
yeah.
Erasing his memories totally fine. Like it'll make people a bit sad, but it's the third movie. We should be a little bit
I
sad
mean,
sometimes.
Well, he's been blown up before. We saw him put back together, so that wouldn't work anyway.
I'm gonna put that fucking robot back together. I think that. I mean, I think and it's all because the robot can't translate Sith. Is Sith a language, ladies and gentlemen? Is
I
that
guess
what
it
we're
is
doing?
now.
it's a religion. It's a language. I don't even know what it is anymore. And also, like, the whole development of like Snoke and Kylo Ren not using the Darth name, I felt like we were getting away from the Sith.
We were
Right.
Because you can do evil shit without worshiping the devil or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yes.
totally. Look
And
at
that's
evangelical
interesting.
Christians.
Absolutely. Perfect example.
Speaking of Kylo, we're jumping all over. It's fine.
That's
I mean,
how it
yeah,
is.
people have seen. Come on.
Another beef that I really had. Why the fuck does the laying in state body of General Organa not disappear right when she dies? Why does it hold off until Kylo fucking
Well, this is a
saves
big
her?
This
conversation. It's the Leia
I've
conversation.
heard
This is the Leia conversation needs to happen.
Okay. Chris, Mr. Cabin.
It was convenient to the plot. That's the reason. I'm sorry. There's no,
wait, I'm
other
sorry,
fucking
so
reason.
what is the fucking Star Wars reason?
No, I'm saying the Leia conversation, which
I can
is
tell you the Star Wars
Please.
reason though. Like
Oh,
apparently,
no.
but like she's like using the Force to transfer the goodness back into Ben Solo or some shit.
Whatever.
I didn't
yeah,
buy that.
Yeah.
But-
I know, well, it's
But
not.
But how is a dead body doing that?
I watched that twice, and it was never clear to me. I think, and again, like I said, like I get it. They got caught with their pants down. They backed the wrong horse. Carrie Fisher tragically died, but like you can do the Lydia Soprano thing. One scene. It's got to be a
Yep.
short scene.
Yep.
To do it, to have her be in 2/3 or a third of this movie where it's like this fucking bizarre conversation she's having with nobody, and by that I mean Greg Grunberg.
Don't worry, his mother calls him that too.
But like it just it's nonsensical.
The
Like
dead
he says
speak.
something and she says something else. No, exactly. And I mean, like I was actually, and this is the wrong thing in a Star Wars movie. When Leia died, I was relieved. I was like, thank God she's fucking dead, because
Yeah.
the character. They just changed the character totally because she's a Jedi now. All of a sudden,
and she's training Rey, which we always wanted to see. Right, everyone? We read the posts, and by the way, Chewbacca's getting a medal because Maz saw your Reddit post.
the medal thing worked for me sort of the second time. Because it is what.
Why do you think it sucks?
Because it's just fan service.
It is fan service.
It has nothing to do with anything. Why are we suddenly
it is a
giving
joke
medals?
that we've been telling for 10 years, though, that he should have got that medal.
But also, I'll say why.
What you guys have been saying.
What
I
I
say
hate-
that dog needs to be in a cage.
What I hate about Maz in this movie is that, like, for the last, like, it's implied in Force Awakens that her and Chewbacca have been fucking. Like,
wait, no, it is not.
What the fuck are you talking
she's
about?
like, where is that?
Co-signing this. I didn't notice, but I like
Well, no,
it.
when she's
where's my boyfriend? She's, where's my boyfriend?
Where's
Oh,
that
yeah.
Wookiee?
Yeah,
He's right.
But that's like a cute thing that
That
people
fucking
say.
dog would
Also-
split that thing open, man.
He might have, but here, maybe that's why she's so short.
Force healing has been confirmed, so maybe like Leia
This
fucking
is
fixed her.
just filthy. I'm
You
sorry.
all waited 2 weeks for this?
No, okay, so maybe they don't fuck.
Okay.
Maybe they just know
Just
each other well.
suck and play.
But all she's doing is like, Leia wanted you to do this.
Yes.
Leia wanted you
Yeah.
to do this. I am not a character at all, you see. I'm just a funny
that's,
looking
That's
thing.
a great point, Chris, because she was
Her
a
eyes do look like pineapples.
She was a completely different character in those first two movies, and now she's just exposition bot.
Well, to be
Give
fair,
her
she-
lines to a robot.
I'm sorry. In The Last Jedi, dude, she is just seen on the
That's true.
Skype call for 2 seconds,
Which-
kind of fighting a thing, and it
Yeah,
never
fighting
matters.
a union, being a piece of shit, probably,
Yeah.
right? Like fighting
She's
a
like, oh,
union.
this union dispute, blam, blam. I'm
But-
like,
Yeah,
yikes.
totally.
I
These
don't-
workers are trying to unite.
The fact that that is her character in that movie leads me not to believe she's going to be fucking the resistance water boy in this movie.
I couldn't believe she was even there. What the fuck is the
That's
point?
what I'm saying.
It doesn't
She
need to be in the
doesn't-
movie.
She
I
doesn't
kinda-
belong in.
No, I actually
Yeah.
think. I think that
part.
she should be training Rey if that's the case. Like, because you set her up in this first movie as super force sensitive, super like I know all about this, that, and the other thing. Like,
Right.
she
She
would
had
be
the
fine.
lightsaber,
She had
too.
the lightsaber. It would make sense, and also you have Lupita Nyong'o to do something.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be nice.
But I mean, like, and the thing here's my question to you, mostly to Eric, because he's the Star Wars guy, and we're all Star Wars guys. But
Our Lord.
what do you think about Leia being a full-on Jedi?
It was one of the parts
It's currently happening in this Heir to the Empire book I'm reading
that
right
I
now.
didn't
buddy.
mind it.
No, it's
because
an
of
old
those
EU thing, but it's
reasons.
not in these movies. That's
Well,
my problem.
Apparently, it is now, dude.
She's
I know.
got her own lightsaber.
I didn't mind it so much, and I know people take problem with like the flashback scene of her Tarkin-faced young with
Her
Luke.
mannequin fighting Mark Hamill's mannequin.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was a payoff of the EU, and by the way, even Palpatine coming back is a payoff of
Oh, no,
the
sure.
EU, like with the Dark Empire comic series,
So
just
wait.
to name one. But like, I've conflicted emotions on.
But here's the thing.
on
I
this,
think-
but
I think-
I'm okay with it.
It's not in those. If it was in those first two movies, if she like, she's very clearly in those first two movies really force sensitive and has spurned the entire Jedi-ness and like, you know what I mean? Like she's able to do stuff. She could sense when Han dies. She could fly through space.
Yeah.
I get all that. But the fact that she went through all this training, that's like me telling you guys I was a medical doctor the whole time. I don't practice.
Wait,
I podcast. I work in book publishing.
Oh, wait,
but
wait.
no, I went to 8 years of medical
Oh,
school.
you Dr. Ken?
Yeah,
Dr. Ken Jeong.
Chris, I cut you off. I think.
No, it's go ahead.
No, but I mean but I like it's a little too fast. It's a little too late for me for her to be. And I don't mind her being a Jedi again. Like it's been set up in the EU, but it's a nice end for the character.
Your
et cetera,
point
et cetera.
there points us to they should have thought about this as a trilogy. You're paying $4 billion for a property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know, like, I don't think Lucas had it all planned out, despite his propaganda campaign that he did. But he was surrounded himself with competent people. They did reshoots. They worked hard to make each movie good on its own merits.
Yes, and this is not that. And that's
Exactly.
But it's
This is
also-
more like the prequels. This is like episodes 2 and 3 where we just rush through a bunch of shit
Right.
just to get to
just
an
to
end
get
point.
to it. Yeah.
But I guess the weird difference is like we knew what the end game was for that, and this is
Yeah.
like you had all this time. I mean, I think the greatest lesson to be learned from this movie is there's a reason why there are certain people that get paid to write things, and then the people who are complaining on the internet and not writing stories aren't being paid to write stories. Like this is clearly just crafted from Reddit. Like the best thing I saw, the best meme created was the famous like blue title cards, and it says written and directed by Reddit.
Yeah.
Yep.
because that's what all this is. Like, it's
a
jamming in all this EU stuff out of nowhere.
It's also
true.
just like fucking Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, you listen to these people who know nothing. Let
they
me
know
be
nothing
very
about
clear.
hedgehog teeth.
And
like,
we know
it
nothing
does
as
not
well, to
matter,
be-
but like, why are you bowing to these people? What is wrong with you?
And
They're gonna see your movie anyway.
It doesn't matter. You
Yeah.
could make it. You could. I'm not kidding. You could put the Human Centipede Part 2 back out and put Star Wars over the title, and they would see it in droves.
it's true.
I am Darth Laser.
Shit, dude. Dieter Laser as Emperor Palpatine.
Honestly, Dieter Laser as whatever, maybe like some side villain in Mandalorian season 2.
I will make a human centipede out of 3 Snokes, and now this Snoke has to go get my paper in the morning.
Wookiee centipede.
Yes,
He did use dogs at the start, dude.
That's true. That starts with Wookiees, and then he graduates to Snokes.
JJ, I got this friend. This is me, Alec Baldwin. JJ, could you get a friend of mine into your movie? He just wants a small part.
The Human Centipede. JJ, it is brilliant. It is a brilliant film.
I'm going to send you my 35 millimeter printer.
Here's a thing that should be adapted into a Disney Plus television series.
Human centipede.
Yes. The second thing should be a series about a very interesting group of people we come to know nothing about. All of the
Stormtrooper people?
Stormtrooper who are like Finn. They,
Yes.
And they find them all on that island.
It's a cool idea.
It's a cool idea that doesn't get explored
I
at all.
like that
woman
main
who's like the
actress.
leader of them is
Yeah.
awesome.
Finn being force sensitive now.
I'm okay with it.
But I'm fine. I'm whatever with it. It didn't seem like it seems
Pretty
late,
stupid. It's
seems
pretty
late in life
stupid.
to develop it. But Leia
Yeah.
training Rey, why not just train Finn too? Just
Sure.
say that there's years that have passed.
Are
and-
you talking about the ones with the boar horses?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I like them enough. I'm not sure about the ending with them. With the fucking riding these boar horses on the fucking
I think that's
top
kinda
of
fun.
a Star Destroyer,
Dude, it
which
was
is not that
badass.
windy, it turns out, up there.
It was bad.
I kind of enjoyed that.
I didn't mind.
I
I
also
understand your point though.
I
Chris.
will say I like the idea of Star Destroyers with Death Star capability on them. 'Cause
Another
it makes
thing
sense.
that's not explored at all, though. Like, what a cool fucking technological development for Star Wars, and it's like one line of dialogue.
Well, it makes more sense if it's just that the First Order do it. I actually like that there's a
final order.
a
Finally, there's a final order.
there's a
There's
boardroom
a first order, and now there's a final order.
there's a boardroom scene with all these generals, and like some of them are there, and this is how we introduce Richard E. Grant, who I do like in this movie.
Not enough to do.
I
Yep.
do like him a lot. I just wish he was more, because he's like a Palpatine sycophant in that he's like, oh, I served you in the Empire and I'll serve
Right.
you again. Have him there from the start. Have him be responsible for this return. I just
Yeah.
feel like it's weird. Like, where did he come from? Because it was Hux kind of ruling the First Order, and then
Yeah, he gives
Kylo
that big speech.
Yeah, so it just seems
Wait.
odd to me.
Whoa, you want him to be a character? The fuck are you talking about? It's Star Wars, the third fucking ninth movie.
Can we mute this mic?
I'm getting close. I'm getting real close.
I do agree. I mean, like, I think that he's a bit rushed. I do like.
Because he's such a great fucking actor.
He's great in the movie. Hux, I wish did more than just be a spy.
I liked Hux.
I
like the Hux end.
And here's this fucking unceremonious, surprising death that works. See, it can work.
I just think it would have made more sense for him to fucking bounce.
Yeah,
if he's
just
killing
yeah,
stormtroopers.
Just get
Yeah.
the hell out of
I
it.
was kind of after he.
And then
Dude,
think about
him
the
with
dynamic.
the fucking cane and the white ribbon wrapped around his injury like he's in the fucking Civil War. Are you kidding me?
Red badge of courage. But like if he defected, it
Right.
would be something. It'd be interesting. Like obviously we see Kylo Ren defects to the light side, and that's also killed in the
Dude,
cradle.
you know what? And now that you're talking about it, I like it. You start this movie off, and it's General Hux, and he's got a red mustache, and he's like, "I'm part of the rebellion now, baby."
Right? Now he's
we're
like
thinking.
sleeping with slime monsters.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, all sorts of strange.
Yeah, dude.
I like it over here. Yeah.
Hey, so here's another incredibly positive thing I'll say about this movie. 3 little words, my friends.
Babu Frick again?
We love Babu Frick, don't we,
you
folks?
guys do.
No, here, get ready for this one, though. I think we can all agree. Billy D. Williams.
He's
Yeah.
good.
Oh yeah, man.
I would like some explanation on. I wish they went into that. That's it. Apparently, there were scenes that like his family had been abducted by the First Order, his daughter,
And
and
then-
that's who that girl is at the end.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting there seeing the final Star Wars Skywalker Saga movie, and I'm like, oh, cool. Now Billy D. Williams wants to fuck this kid.
Well, no, I mean, that scene is so.
That's what it felt like.
you
in
have
the-
to cut that scene out
Well,
entirely. if
You
you're gonna
absolutely
the rest-
have to.
because they cut her off mid sentence. He's like, "Well, why not wait?" And then they
Why-
just cut to whatever.
Why
Why
don't
don't
we
we
find
find
out
out?
in the back of the Millennium
Yeah, it
Falcon,
is very-
baby?
Well, we find him at Burning Man. What do you think he's after?
I love that.
I
I
don't,
love.
by the way, though, how is it that when someone says, like, I don't know who my family is, and then another person says, well, why don't we find out? Granted, it's sexy talk, but that's Billy D. Williams. That's all he speaks in. How does that translate to I'm going to fuck this person?
That's just how I read it.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's find out who your family is translates to I'm going to fuck
As
you.
in, we're gonna make
What
a family,
What
buddy.
an odd pickup line.
It's Oswald Cobblepot. I need to find my parents. Well, why don't we find out, Mr. Cobblepot? Oh my God! I've never been touched like this before.
You know, I don't have the normal holes. You know, they're different. They're a
I
little
will say,
different.
Steve Sadak was doing the correct. This is the Penguin. Chris Cavan was doing this is Star Trek.
Either or, but I mean, like,
So Billy D. Williams is like,
he's fun.
yeah, he's fun. I love that he shoots a stormtrooper with an arrow at the start of
Yes.
this introduction.
Pretty sweet.
But he's just like, hey guys, yeah, no, Luke Skywalker was looking for a Sith Wayfinder on this planet, and I just stayed there for 25 years.
I think he's just like, well, hold on, is it legal here? Well, that's the thing. This is where I'll plant my flag.
if you have to retire, do it on a fun planet in the galaxy.
You
That's
know what?
fair,
I can order spice and they just come and deliver it to
Actually,
me.
that is the part I just remembered it now. Just speaking of Billy D. Williams, when he rolls up with the Armada at the end,
Yes.
I did get a little teary. The galaxy coming together to fuck these people up.
You know what? Also, J.J. Abrams, like, we all have friends. I get it. And the fact that Dominic Monaghan shows up, that's anathema. Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, never the twain shall meet.
Well,
Oh,
it's like maybe you could have, him and like Greg Grunberg, like could have been Rose scenes. Could have been Rose.
Well,
scenes.
we should talk about Rose. I mean, also that we spent 10 minutes on the death of Greg Grunberg. Oscar Isaac is ready to call off the attack because Greg Grunberg is dead. I'm like, give me a fucking break.
And that only matters to people who've read the books and comics and auxiliary materials
Yes.
because he's Snap Wexley, who is raised by Wedge Antilles in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like so. Wedge shows up
That's
for his
what
cameo.
did it. That's what did it for me specifically was when I saw
Nice
Wedge
flying,
Antilles.
Lando.
Oh, my son is dead.
cool.
Maybe
No
he doesn't
one
know
knows.
yet.
But, no, well, yeah, that's
He's
completely. fair.
Wedge after
That's
this
fair.
after the events
That's
of this
fair.
film.
Is that my snap in there?
That's the thing. After the events of this film, Wedge Antilles got some really bad news.
You know what else is unknown and dead is the Knights of Ren. I would have loved.
Oh, Pete, Chuck, Snapper,
Listen, like
Greg.
I don't care about knowing everything about them or if they're force sensitive, which they probably should have been because didn't he burn down the academy? and
Yeah,
leave
with them.
Yeah, they
So-
were
so
all
weren't they
rolling.
Jedi
Who are
together.
those
students?
other students? Great
So
question.
shouldn't they use some force powers? But like we could have had a fight sequence set piece akin to like the throne room in The Last Jedi.
Yeah,
A
some fucking force fighting.
Can we see some fucking good choreographed fights?
You're
in this
telling
movie?
me there's no Reddit fucking post that said I want to see the fucking Knights?
I mean,
Go at
that's
it?
the thing. It's like you saw them. There they are.
One great thing about the Knights of Ren, real quick. Sorry.
Frank,
The
Reggie,
Reggie, I love that guy.
Frenchie,
Frenchie's good
Flippy.
Zeppo,
Zeppo.
Harpo, Chico.
2 times.
too. But their
Yes.
fucking ship is like spewing out like coal exhaust or something.
Yes.
It's like a fucking train. I enjoyed that.
Dude, more trains in Star Wars, by the way. Something to think about.
I do think the Knights of Ren are okay. I think they're just okay.
They're nothing.
They're nothing.
They're not
but
a
so's
kid-
Boba
they're-
Fett. I mean, like, come on, guys.
You're right.
What
If
is
you
Boba
look
Fett
at how they're
doing stuff?
contextualized.
In my no. Fett has agency in terms of he has something to do in
Yeah, and he
Empire
wants
Strikes
to do
Back.
stuff,
He has
yeah.
something to do in Return
Sure.
of the Jedi. He's taking Han
Yeah.
Solo. He's a big instigator of the plot
Sure.
from Empire to
that's
Return of the
totally
Jedi. The Knights of Ren are extras in the background.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
standing in
that's-
doorways.
That's fair. I think
Pudgy, Graham.
I do think that Rose
Beefer.
Rose we could have done a lot more with, and I think Rose is the fingerprint of Reddit. Is to me
Yes.
anyway. And I mean, like, I don't think that she needs. I don't know if I'm going to watch the Rose Tico Disney Plus series that everybody wants to have
Probably
happen.
not.
I mean, like,
but-
depending on what it is. But I mean, like, but the fact that she is so sidelined is the fingerprint of Reddit. It is.
It just doesn't feel cohesive. Sorry.
Well, like fucking, Dominic Monaghan got this fucking role from a bet with JJ, right?
Well, yeah, that's a hyperbole story that they told each other.
Really?
I mean, it's just a story.
another story, and it's the internet, and everyone, like you said, everybody's tossing blame and whatnot.
Yeah.
But just to be fair to him and throw it out there, Chris Terrio did say that one of the reasons that happened with Rey is because she had a bunch of shit to do with Leia.
Rose,
with
Rose, yes,
with
yeah.
Rose, and she had a bunch of scenes with
Even
Leia.
though that she was dead before the and the script
Nine
even
Before he got
starts.
hired, yeah.
No, and that's the thing, and that is the fucking J.J. Abrams calling card, because it's the same thing that happened with Lost, where it's like, yeah, this was all figured out.
Yes, it was
You know what I
not.
mean? And like, clearly this wasn't either. But like, if that's true, Chris Terrio, then like we've said, like, take another year, rewrite your fucking
Sure.
movie, man.
And also, like, Rose, I mean, again, I don't think she needs to have like a 3-hour cut of this movie, but like, you can give her something to do that matters. Because in the last movie, she had something to do that mattered. She kind of sacrificed herself at the end, and like, even like, you're not even sure she's alive at the end. You know what I mean? Like, right? Like, she's injured, and like, they take her off, and like, blah blah blah. Like, kind of like Finn at the end of the first one. If I'm remembering that properly.
Yeah.
But anyway, like,
Yeah.
just have her be like, she's the one that blows up the thing at the end, or she's the one that, like, or even cares that Finn's doing it. You know what I mean? Like, because they set up
Yeah.
a romantic thing that they totally nix in this one.
That's completely gone. Yeah,
It was also very hard for me to walk into this movie without having all the like Johnson hate in my head
Sure.
coming in, and having that like
Oh, you know what, Chris? Good.
Hey, Chris, did you like the part where Luke Skywalker as a ghost showed up and said, everything I said in the last movie was wrong?
Bullshit. It was all bullshit.
No, you can't throw a light sword. It's just a sacred thing.
Man,
That's
was
a lot.
something.
That's another fingerprint.
It's
That was
too
really
much.
that's the fucking Reddit calling card right
Yes.
there. I think
'Cause,
more
I mean,
than
like,
Rose.
it's one thing, like, you could say, oh, well, he learned more in the afterlife and blah, blah, blah. But, like, what he learns is, again, that the Jedi shouldn't exist. You know what I mean? Like, even Yoda's like, it's horseshit, dude.
It's
Like,
all over with. The two of them sit there
Mm-hmm.
in The Last Jedi and watch that shit burn down. The last shot of that sequence is the two of them sitting on a log watching it all burn.
it's a simple fix. She throws it in, and then she decides I have to go back and get
Yes.
it. I have to put my hand in the fire, literally, to
Yes.
get this thing back that I believe in. It's so easy.
We've been dancing around her quite a bit. What do we think of Daisy Ridley? What do we think of a granddaughter Palpatine?
I mean, listen, here's the thing, and it's kind of just like aping a joke you've been saying already, so credit to Steve Sadak already, but like, never should Ross Palpatine use the word granddaughter.
Well,
the
that-
word granddaughter.
Sheev Palpatine.
Oh, Sheev, excuse
when
me.
he-
Ross is his son,
When
which
she-
apparently the Force skips a generation.
When she
oh, wait,
shows
no, but not for Skywalkers.
when she
Just
shows
for
up at
Palpatine.
Exegol and he's like, "Welcome, my grand," both times. But I think he says grandchild, which is a little more dignified.
Sure.
I am laughing. I laughed both times because I was like already out on the movie the first time, and the second time, like, oh, maybe this movie. And he's like grandchild. And I'm like, oh
So
man.
Welcome back, my oogie boogie
Oh,
sweetums.
look, Miss Big City Jedi decides to visit People Palpatine. Oh, well.
Oh, couldn't send a card on Life Day. I see.
FaceTime. I've been trying to FaceTime with
Look,
you.
Dad, Granddad, you didn't give me your stupid fucking Sith GPS, so I don't know how to get to you.
Also, my VCR is blinking 12. You're supposed to come over and fix it.
I want to record my stories.
I told you not to move to Exegol. It's so far away from where I live.
I gotta take fucking 2 transports to get to Exegol, you son of a bitch. Why do you think I never visit?
The climate agrees with me.
Get more for your money.
I'm a bit of a snow Sith.
It's My lord.
I think
just
she's
dumb.
good. I actually think
She
think
is
she's
good.
She
and
is. She is. Good.
She gets
very
She
good.
gets higher in this movie, even more so than the first two. She gets handed a pile of shit and she makes it into something. I think
Yeah.
A lot of them in
and the
this movie
character
do.
and she makes the character still make sense somehow, which is a shocking thing for an actress to do because the character doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I like her being a reluctant Palpatine. I like her meeting her evil self on the Death Star. I kind of like that bit when we're on the Death Star and like the idea of a sunken Death Star is really cool to
Yeah.
me.
I think
Yeah.
that shit's really awesome.
I did.
yeah.
I did think it was.
And it feels like
pretty
it should be
neato.
where the climax of the film should be, possibly.
Absolutely.
And
Oh, it's,
Yeah.
no, it did. Oh wait, but I left like 30 minutes before it ended. There's more?
So when did Palpatine? So Palpatine had a kid.
Yeah.
And he was just like, "Oh, my dad is so mean. Even though I got the keys to the Empire, I can." I mean, they could be living in pig shit luxury.
But,
Yeah.
but the kid didn't want to fucking go to take over the hardware store.
yeah.
Like he just wanted to fucking have sex with Eve or whatever.
The lady killing Eve,
Jodie
yeah.
Comer.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna sell my child to what was that guy's name? Udo.
Udo Kier.
I-
Yes, I'll take this
I
child.
wish.
Why not? It'll be a lot of fun.
Mr. 4/4 portions
Yes.
or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
Simon
so-
Pegg.
Oh, right.
Yes.
No.
I'm speechless
No,
with
I mean,
some of this
it's-
plot detail.
Well, because the thing is, like, like obviously in the last one, it's the great Adam Driver bit of like, you know who you are, you're nobody. Your parents sold you for drinking money, and
Yeah.
in this, it's like, well, actually, she thought that, but she was actually my granddaughter.
I
Right.
feel like they should have just made her a clone. If just say Snoke's a clone, say she's a clone, and then she is kind of nobody because she's just a copy.
I mean, it does do the Star Wars thing of
And-
from a certain point of view, like
right?
you know what I mean,
And it'll the fucking prequels were all about friggin' clones.
yeah.
Why
That's
aren't
true.
we more openly cloning if we're gonna fucking bring people back?
If we
from
have
the
this
dead?
technology, just
Yeah.
keep cloning people, like whatever.
Seriously.
As Dominic Monaghan says, like cloning, dark technology. That's what Palpatine's all about. Like, who are you again?
Dude, it is fucking redonkulous that he is in this movie. It is so stupid.
I do love also the Oscar Isaac line of somehow Palpatine has returned. Somehow I'm running out the clock on this contract, which ends at the strike of midnight, and I'm thrilled.
When I
Yeah.
saw the Death Star all broken on the ground, I was like, "Whew, somebody had fun."
Here's a question. Play a game of does this work?
Okay.
Harrison Ford in this movie.
It's the only way this here's the thing is the problem is
A non-force ghost.
he's a non-force ghost and he says I'm a memory and you're like wait what don't worry about it.
No, it's a
Exactly.
ghost. It's not a force ghost. It's a normal ghost.
I mean the
that
thing
you
is
see now.
I
It's
think
a woo ghost.
I think that there's a
Spooky one.
way in which this makes sense in
Yeah.
which Leia is projecting that onto him. That's her final kind of a thing.
Okay.
Like that's a
I
way
guess
to.
maybe that's possibly what's happening, but it seems like a stretch. Like, just explain.
It's the only way you can redeem this character, which I actually think shouldn't have been redeemed. I like Adam Driver a lot. Obviously, I think he's great. I think he's a great villain, and like let's call him a villain.
I kind of
And-
like the redemption. I feel like if anything, if you're gonna do that, go all the way. Because at the end of Return of the Jedi, Vader is redeemed, instantly dies. In this movie, Kylo Ren is redeemed, instantly dies.
Yeah.
To,
Well, 'cause
subvert the expectation and have
but
him
it's-
live.
It's harder because like Vader had the death of Alderaan on his hands.
Right.
It's kind of hard to walk around
War
in the world like,
Crimes
no,
Tribunal.
I'm cool, man. Look, I'm wearing I was wearing a black shirt before that, man. That was bad.
Yeah.
White shirt. So cool.
Change of heart.
Yeah. It's kind of hard. It's messier.
Well, you know what? Drop him off on that fucking Luke Skywalker island.
That's a good one.
exile.
That scene with
Ooh.
Han Solo would work so much better if there was nobody, because he's all alone.
Yeah.
That's like the point of the whole moment is like, I killed my fucking dad, my mom's dead. I am all the fuck alone.
Yeah.
But no, you have to have another goddamn Ford moment.
Yeah. I mean,
Drove me nuts. I'm sorry, guys.
yeah.
Wait,
it's a-
you said that the Han Solo moment would work if Han Solo wasn't there. What are you saying?
Like it's Kylo Ren's moment.
yeah.
like, it was just him talking to himself. I
Like,
guess.
or just like not even talking, like
Voice.
just like looking around and like knowing that he's all alone for real. Like
Right.
he
Yeah.
fucking did it to himself.
Right.
He did all of this to himself.
Yeah.
But no, you don't, because he's got to be a nice little fucking boy that you're doing.
But it is at least I think it's a great moment after he hucks the lightsaber in the water and then he turns around and he's gone. at least for that moment, he is totally alone.
Yeah.
Well, when he's after with Ridley, but like then I don't know why you have this moment with Han Solo other than just be like, you love Harrison Ford, right? He's back, everybody. He's
I mean,
back.
it's
That's
that, but
how I kind of felt about it.
it's hard because he did the most unforgivable thing, which is kill Harrison Ford. Like,
Yeah.
so you have to have him on. You don't have to, but the only way they thought that audiences would buy him as a nice guy is if Harrison Ford's like, I'm cool being dead. You know what I mean, guys?
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's actually really great.
I did like
I
that
can go be Indiana Jones.
You know that movie, Dracula Dead and Loving It? I'm Dracula, folks. I love it.
Oh man, I lost it again. Man. Fucking
Han
Harrison
Solo,
Ford.
dead bastard.
Oh, I liked how those like final moments of their interaction is just mirroring the
Yes.
dialogue from Force Awakens. I thought that was
And it's
something.
And it's sort of like that makes it more of a memory if we're playing the memory game.
Memory.
Oh fuck yeah, Kevin!
It's definitely like
Serenade.
it's definitely a lesser problem for me. I didn't
the-
mind
on
it
the
that
list of
much.
stuff that I mean,
I'm going to say something positive I liked about the
Please.
movie. That the
Babu
hyperspace.
Frick?
No, the hyperspace jumping. I thought
that's
it was
fun.
That
it
was pretty
fun.
cool.
Yeah,
It's cool.
and it carries over one thing from the Last Jedi, that the First Order TIE fighters can enter hyperspace and catch up with them.
Yes, yeah.
So it's
it's something.
it's something.
And
Yeah.
also, at some point, I think when we're not negating Last Jedi entirely because we say the Holdo maneuver, which is also hilarious. They're like, well, how are we gonna do it? Some guy's like, I think it's even Dominic Monaghan's like, hey, I'm in this movie. And like, fuck. And but he's like, hey, he's like, why don't we do it? He's like, why don't we do a couple of Holdo maneuvers? And then everyone's like, well,
Couple?
no. It's like that is a 1 in a million shot. Also, like, that's suicide. Like, we're not gonna be suicide bombers.
We don't have
Right.
those big ships. You
A
understand? She
part
had a
of me
big
read
ship.
that as almost fan service to be like, hold on, no, that's stupid. That's stupid from a stupider movie.
Yeah, that's right.
I think
That's kind of how I read it.
I don't know. I thought that and then there's that part when he's talking to Kerry Russell's character, who I don't know,
Zora or Zori.
Zori. I think it's Zori, and he's like,
Zori Bliss.
and I like Poe in this movie. I think that
I think
Oscar
Poe's
Isaac does really, and he's much more of a slapdash kind of like haha kind of a character in this movie, which
Yes.
I think makes a lot more sense for the character. And he's just like, we had at the Battle of Crate, we called out and nobody came. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that still sticks in his craw. You know what I mean?
And it
Like,
seems really weird that Billy D. Williams and Lando Calrissian can just get the entire universe to show up in a second. I
I
guess
think-
because he's had sex with all of them. Is that
No,
the-
I think it speaks to the fucking suaveness of Lando Calrissian, man. You got Oscar Isaac, fucking Poe Dameron, like he's just like this swindler, scoundrel kind of a guy, but and he's handsome in his own right, or whatever, but he's
Yeah.
not as suave
But
as
so
Lando Calrissian.
when they sent out the distress call about Crete or whatever, did Lando get it and be like, no, it's not dirt, it's Carnival here, so I'm not coming. I'm not going to convince
it's
anyone
possible,
to help.
man. He's off the grid there. You
Yeah,
know?
so
Well, you
know.
see, it's Fat Tuesday here. We can't be doing that.
what do you think of
Lobot's wasted in the back.
dude? Lobot should have came back. What do you think about
Lobot
Poe?
was executed.
Poe as a spice runner, man. He's a drug dealer.
I'm fine with it.
I think it's rad because it adds to
Yes.
because he is the Han Solo.
Yes,
of this
for sure,
trilogy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's nice that that it plays into the piratey scoundrel
Yes.
stuff
And
of those kinds
exactly.
of characters in the Star Wars universe.
They made Poe like the Han Solo,
Right.
and he's the X-wing pilot, and Finn they were. I guess he's force sensitive now. I don't
fucking
know.
Jedi kind of. I don't know.
I liked him in this movie.
I'm not saying I disliked him. I'm just saying they could have done something better with this
I,
character.
I think he's good with Poe.
Yeah.
I think the scenes with Rey are not good.
There's
for
very
the
few
most
of them.
part.
Yeah.
Apparently, that when he was like they fall into the quicksand or whatever,
Yeah.
the thing he wanted to tell Rey was not that he loved her,
That it's Jedi.
that he has force powers.
That's the Force power stuff.
It'd be cool if it ever came back.
It'd be
If
cool-
that
mentioned
moment
in
would ever,
any way.
ever paid
Well,
off.
That's
Yeah.
the problem. Is that okay? He's Force sensitive. Do something with it.
No, totally.
Why don't you do something except for just saying, "Oh, I'm gonna say something. Oh, I'm gonna say something.
Well,
oh,
that
I'm
was-
gonna say
that
something."
was another thing that I read on the internet today, so I don't even know if it's a true thing. But when they're on top of the Star Destroyer and whatever, he
Mhm.
supposedly did use the Force to fix the thing that was wrong,
Yeah.
and they just animated BB-8 over it, fixing it instead.
That makes sense. I mean, again, this movie. I mean, and look, here's the thing. And
I don't know if that's true, but
there's plenty about this movie I like. There is. I will say with a capital P, plenty. This movie's a fucking mess. It's a mess.
It's a mess.
And they put they rushed it out.
It is okay to like it, and I know this is probably the 100th thing you've seen of people yelling about it, but
it's worth
okay
yelling
to like
about.
it.
I think it's
It's
worth yelling about.
but
I
it's
still would
enjoyable.
say that I liked the movie.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
mean-
I had a lot of problems with it, and that's okay because
Right.
there's no fucking flawless piece of anything. you know,
I think I fall on disliking the movie, but
Yeah.
I realize this trilogy's over, and I don't need to have such a strong opinion. I can let go.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
But I also
I can
think
finally live.
that's yes, Eric, you can finally today.
Yes.
I just don't like it. I hate it, in fact. But my whole thing is like, you wouldn't give this kind of like excuses to any other movie. You
That's
would
fair.
not allow it.
It's true.
It would not happen. So when people are like, okay, there's one or two excuses I have to make this work.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's what I expect from Star Wars. There's a couple conveniences.
Mhm.
This is convenience after convenience after convenience to make this thing that nobody fucking wanted except for these idiots on Reddit.
Chris has a good point here because, like, so many people, speaking of J.J. Abrams, hated Star Trek Into Darkness. And it's a fucking cohesive movie, despite whatever problems you have with it. It is
It's
not.
got a
It's
three-act
well
structure.
made.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
well made.
You can dislike that he's Khan. You can
Which
I
dislike
kinda
his lens
do,
flares. I dislike
but-
it too. I
That's-
sighed in the theater.
All
It
fine
is-
to think.
But it is a cohesive, well-made movie.
Yeah.
In my
It's
opinion.
really well
Here's
paced.
my thing on this movie. I think the floor was always it was going to be the 6th best Star Wars movie.
and it's not.
It is the 6th best Star Wars movie
To
for
you.
me. For me, no, it is.
Disagree.
So wait, hang on a second. In the saga,
You're saying this
9
is worse than
saga
prequels?
films only.
Whoa, no. I'm counting all the other properties. Solo.
No,
I
see, that-
put Solo and Rogue One above
That's
this.
fair. That's fair.
But just talk.
and by the way,
Skywalker
I also
Saga.
I think this is better than Solo and Rogue One.
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to rewatch Solo. I'm the weird guy who rewatched Rogue One, and I think it's really fucking great, and I liked it a lot.
I rewatched
I-
Rogue One and I hated it.
Really?
Yeah.
I rewatched everything, and I liked Rogue One. I put Solo above it. I know I'm weird.
But so let's just say though, for the sake of
Right.
argument,
Yeah.
Skywalker Saga only. Where does this land betwixt 9 movies?
Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Last Jedi, Force Awakens, and then this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it
so
is.
That's kind of
Yeah.
where I'm. That's where
Yeah.
I've been. But I mean, I also think that the characters are enough to carry me through a messy landing. I think that they
Yeah.
do. I mean, and it's a messy movie. It's a
I'm
mess.
really curious how we're going to perceive this movie 10 years from now.
Oh, totally.
And I'm sure I'll soften on it. Maybe someone will harden on it.
I
but-
don't think people are going to stop. Like, I kind of feel like this is one of those things where people cannot perceive of how bad it is because, like, you're comparing it to the prequels. Some of the worst movies, like at least the first
But
two.
you have to. It's all part of the same
You
thing.
don't have to do nothing.
Yes, you do.
You
This
don't
is
have
chapter.
to do
It's
anything.
chapter 9 of a thing that started with chapter 1, 2, 3.
I'm saying in a couple years you might come to the point where you're like, this is as bad as those prequels
I can see that.
because like it's too new. It's right here. It's
Yeah.
just
So if you're saying
happened.
that, then you are comparing it to the prequels.
I am, of course, I am.
yeah.
But I don't know if people are ready. Like, I think because those things are so bad and they have such a backstory of being bad, like
Yeah.
it's the biggest deal in the world that those movies suck.
Yeah.
So I think you're not ready to see them on the same scale as this. Is what I'm saying.
But here's the thing. I
Yeah.
think that those prequel movies are bad for a lot of reasons. One being like the leads are terrible. They're you know what I mean, and like
Mhm.
they're wooden and
That's
they're not
true.
fun. And that this movie doesn't do that because I think that the leads at least have arcs that sort of make sense even if you don't like them. And also the characterization and the acting is better. I do think
that's exactly right because between these 7, 8, and 9, 2 of J.J. Abrams and 1 of Rian Johnson, and I don't think J.J. Abrams is a great director, but he and Johnson, I think, both can direct actors really well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that, even though like this Rise of Skywalker is not great, there are good performances
Yep.
in it that at least don't feel like love me like you did when we were on Naboo. Like
of
the
course,
fucking
yeah.
deliveries.
Yes. And again,
In
like,
Attack of the Clones specifically is wretched.
Yes.
And it's because George Lucas can't direct actors.
Yeah.
He can come up with all these cool ideas for the story and
Sure.
whatever, and that's awesome. And, we owe a lot to him, but he cannot direct an actor to save his fucking life.
Yeah.
Absolutely
that's
true.
all. I don't know. That's a weird fucking rant to end on. So I guess maybe, we're over an hour here. So final thoughts and maybe a
Letter grade.
Ranking
Yeah, we
or-
could do it. We could
I
do
already
it.
ranked.
Yeah, rank.
We all said
People
the six-
complain when we rank. I mean,
Yeah.
how about this? How about like final thoughts and where maybe do a letter grade if you want to, and where you see Star Wars going from here.
Okay. Final thoughts. Again, I think top line, this movie is a mess. I think that there's no way to spin this wherein this movie is not a mess, and that's a problem because the other two movies were not messes. Force Awakens, I think. I rewatched it. I found it a little more wooden than I had in the past, but at the very least, like Abrams has, and the thing that I like about Abrams as a stylist is he has really impressive shots.
Yeah.
He's got a really impressive ability to compose a shot that like gives you that gee whiz wonder. And this movie is a little too fast for that. It's not slow enough where you could stop and be like, holy crap. Like the Death Star in the water is like such a cool idea. And it happens so fast, you don't get to linger with it, which you want to do in an Abrams movie. Ultimately, it's a mess, but I like the characters. I like the ultimate end of the film. I do kind of like Rey with her own lightsaber. I kind of hope it's the last time I ever see her, even though I really like the character.
Mm-hmm.
I think what the Mandalorian has shown us is the best way to do Star Wars is to stay away from the big totem poles. Leave those as the totem poles and build on top of it, and find characters that could have existed in between those things, races that could have existed between those things in the nooks and crannies that we always wanted to see that we never saw. That is the way to explore this story further and leave the Skywalkers, the Palpatines, the Fets, all of them out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I agree on almost all those points. I'll say two things we didn't talk about that really stuck with me and I really didn't like. The ending where she takes the name Skywalker. I'm like, well, that just inverts everything you were just talking about.
Could I fight you?
It was kind of a laughable moment.
I was like, what the fuck are you talking? Like, this is supposed to be the end of the Skywalker saga, and you're like, no, there's more Skywalkers. We swear.
Here's the thing. The funny thing, that moment could work in either a way where she is Palpatine's granddaughter, or this whole movie happened where she wasn't Palpatine's granddaughter and she felt the legacy and like maybe she was nobody and she put it away and they're like, well, I'm a Skywalker. Like that's actually kind of nicer. But I'm sorry, I cut you off.
But like she's the switching of the nobody thing is probably my biggest issue of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I want to talk about real quick is Kylo. We didn't really talk about him that much. The helmet is stupid. But two, they plod so much from the Kajimi to the end with like, we're gonna be here. Be bad. No. Be bad.
Yeah.
No. Be bad. No. I'm good.
Yeah, you do what your mother tells you, dude.
I just didn't. I found it really limp. Like I felt like they just like coughed this out. I never felt rushed. I never felt like any thrill the way I usually feel with Star Wars. I'm over talking, but like I really had a lot of hatred for this movie.
I didn't have as much hatred as you, obviously. I there's a lot I like, there's a lot I dislike. And your point about the ending, I think is kind of right because we kind of like get there, and even though there's the Sith fleet and shit, it feels like nothing happens.
Yeah.
It feels like we hardly get anything to
the fucking
this.
action literally never gets off the ground, dude. That fleet doesn't fucking take off.
Go to Coruscant or something. Show me something.
Oh, dude, a Star Wars city battle?
Yeah.
Fuck. 75, 9/11.
How about a siege? Yeah. Do a blockade again. But I don't know. And then like Palpatine, like force sucking power out of people, and then he switches from suck to blow.
Dude, I mean, that part is so ridiculous. He comes in and he's like, if you kill me, you'll become me unless you reflect energy from a lightsaber, which is totally different than killing me. Okay.
No, I'm actually Dracula now. I'm actually
I saw it twice, but I guess he does he dies, right?
He disintegrates, sort of. Yeah.
You see him like melt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kinda
But
cool.
it's probably a problem that I saw this twice and don't even remember how the villain dies because there's so much shit happening that we can't breathe for a second. And to that end, you can't have a well-crafted dogfight in space or something. You can't have a lightsaber battle that is interesting to look at because we have to get to the next plot point.
Yep.
Because this is something that should have been like 2 movies, right? Just split them in half. Infinity War, Endgame. Like, I don't know why we're so beholden to the idea of a trilogy just because that's what it was.
Branding.
Yeah, it's branding.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's
of course it is.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
just nostalgia poisoning. I think a lot of people have gotten over Star Wars, and obviously myself included, because I'm a pig in shit with Star Wars,
Yeah.
and that's also my own problem because then I watch this movie and I'm set up to be disappointed.
But I don't know. I mean, you're talking to a lifelong Star Trek fan over here, and like, I only know disappointment for the most part. Like, a lot of those fucking TNG movies are fucking terrible.
Well, this is kind of why I
And-
want to flood the gates with Star Wars content, because there's been so much Star Trek. And you can find good shit in those nooks. And
You can.
TNG, TOS, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't have to be a Voyager guy if you don't want to be. And it's like, maybe if we make enough of these movies, I can have the ones I like, and I can just not give a fuck about anything else.
Right. And I think you do have that. There's plenty of these
Now.
movies that you like.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
There's also, this one that you don't like. And
Right.
there's the prequels that you don't like, which
Sure.
people like.
But the hours of Star Trek
Right.
compared to the hours of Star Wars,
Yeah, there's
even
more.
with the new Disney output,
There's more. No, I know.
way more.
There's way more.
That's all I'm saying.
A lot of it's bad too.
I know.
But I get what you're
But
saying.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
if we're going to,
And who's on first?
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
if the pool is really
Yeah.
big, I'm not going to taste the chlorine as much.
Sure.
That's all I mean.
That's perfectly
Or
fair.
the piss, actually, more
More likely.
accurately.
I think this movie's a mess. I think it was a totally fine experience seeing it in the theater. For me, now I'm kind of in a place where I'm totally happy to wait till October when The Mandalorian comes out again, season 2. And I'm reading these like books now, and I'm kind of going back through stuff. So I don't know. I'm in a weird place.
Keep reading.
Yeah,
I do
will.
think. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's. I don't know. It's.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We will
We'll
see.
see.
That's a great place to leave
Yes.
it, Steve. We will see. I think is a perfectly fine place to leave it. So that has been the WHM on screen for Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Until next time, I'm Andrew Jupin.
I'm the dark clone of Steven Sadak.
I'm just Chris Gabin.
I'm Eric Siska disintegrating at the end of the movie.
Take it easy.